Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the MOVIEators.
The MOVIEators.
I am Brody, this is Nate, and we're so glad to be talking about one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah, top 10.
Top 10? Really? I want to know what your other 10 are, because this is obviously number one, and it is Alaska, 1996's Alaska, starring the amazing and one and only Charlton Heston.
Yeah, starring. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a pretty great role in it.
He had a huge role.
Probably the best one of his career.
Yeah,
easily,
without a doubt.
Easily.
That actually defined his career, honestly.
Oh, man. If you can't tell, we're definitely joking about this because it's a terrible movie. I remember watching this as a kid and thinking it was really cheesy and bad.
Yeah.
And watching it again for this podcast was like hilarious because it didn't get better.
No.
Didn't think it would. And even, it was amazing. So, without further ado, let's talk about what's going on this week with us, man. So, what you been up to? What have you been watching?
I
watched
watched season 2 of One Punch Man, which was really fun.
Yeah, so you didn't think it ended on a cliffhanger?
No, it didn't really end on a cliffhanger.
I thought it was kind of a cliffhanger.
It's not a cliffhanger. A cliffhanger is right before like a big boss fight.
Okay,
That's
a
cliffhanger.
I think
If it ends leading up to a different storyline, that's not a cliffhanger.
I felt like they were building up for something the entire season, and then it never got there.
But it's not a cliffhanger. It's like banging at the door of where they were going to be, but it's
Banging
they're
and
not at the
knocking,
door.
because I'm like, there's a difference.
They're not knocking at the door. That's a
like,
cliffhanger.
boom, boom, boom.
They haven't even found the door yet.
That's
not a cliffhanger.
What do you think about the one interaction where they, the hero and the villain kind of like cross paths?
No, they were like 2. They were like 3.
I thought it was hilarious. The one in the marketplace or whatever?
The marketplace one?
It's been a while since I've seen it.
I rewinded it. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah.
He's like, what? What are you doing? And he goes, and he just like, passes out. Oh my gosh. It's such a fun show.
It is. It's probably one of my favorite animes of like all time.
It's got a great
I haven't watched a ton, but it's definitely one of my favorite ones. I watched episode 2 of Loki, and I did that, and of course the Bad Batch. Yeah. Oh, it got pretty good. That one ended on a cliffhanger.
Really?
Yes, it did. In fact, I want to send you a little video, but I can't yet because of how it ends. So you gotta watch it so I can send it to you.
I don't even remember what episode I'm on.
Oh, you're two before this one. So you gotta
I don't know what episode that is. 6. You're on episode.
I think you're either on it or you need to watch episode 7.
I think I'm on like episode 5. Well, maybe.
Anyways, it is ready. So Loki, definitely, we got to see some fun reveals on that one, and I'm really excited to see where they're going with it. And I mentioned this earlier, but my wife got really mad that I watched it without her.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got to restart now, basically from WandaVision, and get her caught up on all the TV shows because she hasn't seen any of them.
Yeah, that's not too.
They're not terrible.
Too
like WandaVision is normally pretty short.
Pretty fast.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I mean, there's only 6, 8. Oh man,
8.
I can't think of it. There's not a lot of episodes on each one. That's all I'm saying. And then we're now weekly on Loki, so I'm hoping I can get her caught up pretty fast. We'll take a break from watching Suits to get to this.
Right.
I found out something interesting about Suits, though, and I read it ahead, so it doesn't matter. The main character leaves in season 7, and there's 9 seasons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I thought that was
really
interesting.
That's gonna be
also, Meghan Markle's in it. I found out the show ended in 2019. So I'm thinking she left to go become part of the royal family.
I thought they got married a while ago.
Yeah, maybe.
2017?
She left around the same. It looks like around the same time.
You said 2019 or 2017?
2019.
2019.
So yeah, I know it was like recently-ish, 2 years.
Wow.
When it ended. So I'm curious to see where it's gonna go. But yeah, because I was looking at it, because all right, they fired one character, and I'm like, I wonder if she's gonna come back. And then of course I'm kind of curious, so I'm like, all right, let's see about the other characters. I was like, oh snap. This character's only in this many episodes, and then I'm like, okay, when did they leave? And I'm like, oh snap, this main character is leaving in like the beginning of season 7 is gone. It's not in season 7.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm like, because it kind of is like their show,
right?
And so I'm like, this is interesting. Now there's 2 main characters. I'll say that. The rookie and then the mentor. The mentor stays. The rookie's the one that leaves. I'm very curious to see how they're gonna make that play out.
This should be interesting, yeah.
I know. So that was something I thought was interesting. Yeah, Loki. The farther along I get with that, of course, I'm going to be watching WandaVision next, probably.
Nah.
That's a fun one. I'll watch that one anytime. And then, yeah, like I said, I can't say too much about Loki without going into some heavy spoilers because it's very. I feel like each episode, like there's a ton that happens. I remember we talked about what was that one episode where like nothing really happened. Each episode, I think it was the Bad Batch. It's like it feels like there's a lot of filler. Loki has got like heavy stuff happening. It almost reminds me. I haven't seen Ozark, but it reminds me of Ozark. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah, every episode, like something crazy happens.
That's kind of what I'm feeling like. It's like now, it's not craziness, but like there's stuff like every episode ends, and you're just kind of like, wait, what? It reminds me a lot more of WandaVision than the Captain America show.
Oh, yeah, that one also had.
It had some
episodes, yeah.
But yeah,
nothing happened. Yeah,
and so far, I mean, we're only on episode 2 of Loki, but so far it feels very similar. Also. So, Loki's come out on Wednesdays. I'm going to go on a rabbit trail.
Oh, you're talking about when they changed?
They're doing... Disney Plus is going on Wednesday releases.
That's freaking Disney, dude. They have, one thing works well, and then they change everything to be like that.
Oh,
it's like, no. It's because it's Loki. It's not because it's on Wednesdays. It could have been on Fridays, and it still would have been popular. It's just because people like Loki.
Yeah. So I'm very curious why. I know they're doing it probably because of the Netflix competition on Fridays. But at the same time, because Netflix releases their episodes on Fridays.
They don't do episodely.
That's what I was reading,
right?
Man.
And I mean, they do, like,
I think they used to,
shows.
But I think most other, like, let's say other streaming companies, when they release a weekly episode, it's going to be on, like, a Friday.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to beat the competition by doing it on a different day. We're basically just going back to cable.
Yeah.
Is what it feels like. It's insane. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just, I don't know why. Disney? Yeah, Disney's the trendsetter, I guess, on that one. Unless we're looking at Quibi.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Quibi. Quibi's amazing.
I never even watched a single episode, but I'm just like, I've heard so much about it. It feels like it was part of our lives.
Yeah.
Man, are you ready to talk about Alaska?
Oh, I'm so ready.
You're so ready. So let's go through basically what this movie was about. And there's not that much trivia on it either.
There's not much to the movie. So
there really isn't. So like, it's an hour and 42 minutes. And...
like, straight up. Like, no credits.
Well, no, that's, without the credits. Because I feel like we watched the TV version of it. It was on YouTube. So I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
Man, it just was insane. Let's see. Yeah, an hour and 49 minutes total. So 7 minutes of credits. Or, yes. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I'm just like, I don't even know. So a lot happens, but like nothing happens at the same time. Movies like that where it's just like, it feels like you're just kind of like there, and not in a good way.
Yeah, no, it's
like they're so it's obviously the movie Alaska is set in Alaska, and we were laughing watching it because it's like a lot of the shots were very Lord of the Rings like.
Oh yeah.
But it was like kind of before.
Yeah, we realized it was before Lord of the Rings. Like, oh wow, this is a lot like Lord of the Rings. We're like, wait a second.
Yeah, like the walking shots, like across the mountain ranges and everything. I'm just like, wait. And of course, they were definitely not as good.
No.
Like it was jerky cinematography a little bit and all that kind of stuff. But just the amount of nothing that happens in this movie.
Yeah, you don't really walk away with anything.
No, not
There's
really.
no lessons learned, and unless there's going to be a magical bear that comes in your life and saves your life.
Oh man! So are we ready to talk a little bit more about this?
Let's talk about this movie.
So, oh man, we get introduced to these.
Dude, I don't remember the guy's name. I know the girl's name is Jessie.
I have IMDb pulled up so I can look at this. So Jessie's the girl.
Yeah.
The brother was named Sean. The dad's name is Jake Barnes. Jake Barnes.
Of course.
Now look at his headshot.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I hope that's from a movie.
Probably. He was born in 1945, so that's like old.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then Charlton Heston plays Perry. Perry the poacher. Oh man, it's just this whole movie.
A poacher, and his name is Perry.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So it makes sense. It's directed by
his son.
So that's how they got Charlton Heston to do it.
Fraser Heston. We'll get more into the trivia when I want to talk about the polar bear later. But so we start off with these two poachers. Well, really the poacher and his pilot, his helicopter pilot.
Yeah, the dude
who's also kind of into like the poaching game. They're like, okay, they go and they corner these two polar bears, a mom and a baby. And they take out the mom. Yeah. And you're like, it's just, okay, cool. And then we cut over to a young girl named Jessie and her friend, which I don't remember his name either. But he comes back, so it's kind of important.
Yeah.
He's like, and they play a pretty big part. later on.
Yeah.
And one scene and that's it. So they're like kayaking through the waters, and it's kind of weird. It's very like, okay, so they're in a very small town in Alaska. Their dad is a pilot who like picks up supplies for them. He does all different things. He used to be a pilot in Chicago, and they moved to Alaska when the mom died.
Yeah.
And the kids obviously are adjusting differently. So there's the sister and then the brother, Sean, who is not adjusting well at all.
No.
And he, I guess, was skipping school? But then what was she doing?
I can't remember.
Because he gets in trouble for truancy.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
I thought it was something with pollution because he
That
kicked over
too.
the pails and
Yeah.
the cop was like, do you do something to nature or something like that? And it's all your fault. That's
Yeah.
what he said. I was like, wait, what?
It was bizarre.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets in trouble basically for truancy, even though the sister's still out of school too.
Yeah, and she's like talking on the radio to her dad.
Yeah, while he's out flying.
Yeah.
So the dad comes back, picks up the son from the sheriff's office.
Yeah,
I guess
from jail.
From jail, yeah. Nah, like they're gonna make him do community service. They just clean up the oil that he spilled. They kicked over in a trash can.
Oh, that's what it was. Kicked over.
Yeah, it wasn't even a trash can. It was this little pail.
Yeah.
Like
Of
really
oil
tiny.
that anyone could have tripped over.
Yeah, because it's just kind of sitting out, and he's pouting because he's not in Chicago, and his mom died, and all this stuff, and he just kicks over a couple trash cans and one has oil in it. He gets in trouble for it. So he's got a lot of attitude. He gets in a fight with his dad that night at dinner.
Yeah.
And they say some things, of course, that, I'm sure they would regret if they knew what was about to happen. I was like, okay, of course. So they say words, they storm off, and then, the dad gets a call.
About some emergency.
Some kind of, he needs to do another supply run, okay?
Yeah.
Which is weird, because it's like nighttime, and then we go to it, and it's like daytime in the plane.
Well, it's Alaska.
I guess, but it felt like it was dark outside.
Yeah, he's like, we got plenty of daylight left.
Yeah.
They didn't even look at the...
They don't really address much. They just make offhanded comments about it.
And then they just go and do whatever.
They do whatever they want.
And apparently there's a giant, lightning storm.
Yeah.
Right about
he flies
to hit. And he's like, oh... They don't even mention it at all. And he just takes off and flies
and he flies
straight
right
into
him. And you're all right. So he's going in, and he's not going... Like, so there's all these mountain ranges. There's this thing called the Devil's Thumb.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of flying right at it.
Yeah.
And, of course, like, the close-ups to make it look really serious, and he's in the cockpit, lightning's flashing, and then we get the wide shots, and it's very peaceful.
It's like clear as day. He's just
Peaceful
like
skies.
going along through the mountains. And every once in a while there's like a medium shot where it's like super foggy and smoky.
He has no visibility, and he ends up crashing into the Devil's Thumb.
Was it the Devil's Thumb?
It was like right around it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like in the little mountain range.
But it's weird because he's like right at the top. So it's not like he's down in the valleys of anything. So whenever they go searching for him, they're like, oh, we can't see him anywhere.
We don't know where he is. No, they search, and it feels like they're searching for like 30 minutes. I mean, he's like, we're low on fuel, so we gotta turn around. But I'm like, it's not that far, because we find out the kids walk there.
Yeah, and it takes like a day or two?
There's 2 days, because you see at one point where it's nighttime.
Yeah. So yeah, 2 days.
The next day, anyway, so he's going, mayday, he crashes, and the son wakes up in a sweat. He's all like, he goes over to the radio, Dad?
Did someone say something?
Dad's in trouble. He just knows it. They go in, and that's when they send out the search and rescue party that did not do their job at all. In fact, they only do one thing this entire movie, and that's at the very end.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're flying, and you see them as they're flying. You can see the plane. At the same
you can
area.
literally see it. Like, you can see where
It's
it is.
insane, because I'm like, okay, they probably should have seen it.
Yeah.
And so he gets a flare. He shoots the flare.
And like,
but they turned around at that exact moment.
And it's maybe a couple 100 feet behind them.
Dude,
so they should be
like, do they have like
see it.
rearview mirrors in helicopters? Because I feel like they should.
They definitely should.
I feel like they should, because if they had it, they would have seen, oh, there's a flare behind us.
And then the movie could have ended.
It would have been right there.
We could have been happy.
We could have been spared the bear.
Spared.
Oh, man.
God.
So,
that's a good one.
thank you.
Spared the bear.
We needed to be spared the bear, because the bear comes back later. The bear has been captured by these poachers.
Perry the Poacher.
Perry the Poacher. Let's just call him Perry the Poacher.
Perry the Poacher.
And oh my goodness. So
okay.
I'm blown away. So anyways, there's this they're going, so they got to go find the dad. The kids are like, all right, search and rescue can't do their jobs because they can't.
Because they can't.
And they're like, the son packs up his backpack. He's going in. He's getting all this, like, his rope and some food, and
he was gonna walk too.
He was gonna walk like to this mountain range, which is like, I mean, the dad flew there, so it's kind of far away. You don't really know the distance of anything in these movies.
No.
Because it's like really short,
it's just cuts
but really, it's just cutscenes everywhere. So Well, who knows how far? He probably could have walked there. It might have been like, a 3-hour walk. We don't know. And the sister's like, hey, what are you doing? She's got her backpack. She's already set to go. Like, she packed faster than he did, and she saw it, like, as he was getting ready to walk out the door. So I don't know how that happened. But she's like, all right, so we're going to, she's like, hey, I have an idea. Why don't we get in the kayak and go?
Yeah.
So they get in the kayak, and they're going out, and they go through, like, they have some weird moments, or, like, they're kind of fighting back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
But, like,
bickering.
Yeah, I feel like they're just padding the time at this point.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Because, they go through the rocks, and it's not even that dangerous. Like, they're going through, and he ends up capsizing them.
It is after they get through the rocks. They're
like,
in the slow part.
It's fine.
They're just floating.
And
they're like, whoa! And they just fall over. That's it.
I don't know.
They lose their bags, right?
Yeah, no, they didn't, because they have stuff later on.
Yeah.
They have the rope at the end of the
movie. But it
movie.
doesn't show the bag.
Yeah, no, they don't have the bags when you see it. And I'm like, okay, but you feel like they lost something, but they didn't. That's the thing. It's like, it's hard to keep track on this movie. I don't know. So, she gets mad. She gets over, and she's like, man, he's like, well, we're going to freeze to death and starve now. So it makes you think they lost the bags. But she's like, well, as long as you didn't forget the matches. And he's like, she's like, you forgot the matches. What are we going to do? How are we going to survive? We're going to freeze out here. And they turn around.
30 feet over.
30 feet away, there is a campsite.
Yep.
And it belongs to none other than Perry the Poacher.
Perry the Poacher.
Luckily, Perry the Poacher is not there right then.
And he's got a lighter just sitting on the table. A golden lighter.
A golden lighter. So they're going through this, like, really creepy, like, bone graveyard. Where, like,
bones everywhere.
They have bones of animals all over.
If you're a poacher, if someone walks up on your camp, you wouldn't want all those bones laying around now, would you?
And the skins, and they find, oh, wow, there is a baby polar bear.
Baby polar bear.
In the little kennel thing. And they're like, well, we should let it out. And they let it out, and there's a bonding moment.
And it's the friendliest animal in the world.
Oh, my goodness.
In the world.
Of course.
It's, like, magically, emotionally, spiritually connected to them. On
Very,
every level.
very much so. Oh, my goodness.
It's basically part of their family at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think they adopted them, because, it's an orphan. They're orphans. It works out.
Yeah.
Not quite.
Not quite,
They're almost there.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a polar bear dad somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, his legs are broken.
The polar bear's on its way to save them. Oh my goodness. So they are like, all right, whatever. We got the polar bear. Let's go. And they leave. And Sean grabs the lighter because they need something to start a fire.
And they go. And
it's like the most easily identifiable lighter in the world. It's a golden lighter.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. They start a fire, and Perry the Poacher gets back with his friend, and he's like, hey, the polar bear's gone. We need to get this because it's worth a lot of money to his buyers in Hong Kong. Because apparently, polar bears are really in demand, which I could believe it. I've seen Tiger King. So, and they're like, well, let's go find it. So they go over and they stumble upon the campsite of these two kids, and polar bear's not there because they kind of like, get away, we don't want you here.
Yeah, they started eating a little bit of their food.
Yeah, I'm like, that makes sense because you really wouldn't want a wild animal that can be potentially very dangerous around kids. But it keeps following them anyway. So anyways, it's kind of off hiding. They're like, well, and Perry the Poacher finds his lighter and he's like, okay, these are obviously the same kids that came in and
he said, you know what I hate more than
thieves?
Thieves? Liars.
The dialogue in this movie is amazing.
Lighter back to him.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I love that part.
There's a lot of good moments like that where it's just like it's terrible dialogue that you can just pull apart.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So they're like, so they leave, and his friend's like, why don't we go look for the bear? They obviously had it, or they let it go. And he's like, well, the bears scared it off, so it's no point in going after it now.
Yeah. And
they leave. I mean, I don't really know where they're going.
Mm.
They pop up later. It's just weird, but like they kind of just really appear when it's like convenient for them.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. This whole movie is like a plot of convenience.
Plot. Yeah.
Because like nothing really matters. Like people in their positions are all over the place. Like they just kind of show up when they need to.
Yeah.
So, it's 100% like awkward because we're still following these kids with no point. We continue on, and what happens next? Do you remember what happens next? Because this is one of my favorite parts. They're climbing. They're like they lost their boat.
Yeah.
I guess. Well, the poachers took it and they smashed the boat.
Yeah, when they're in the
and they're going for they're walking through the mountains now.
Right.
And there's a snowball fight.
Oh my god!
This is my favorite.
I forgot about that. Okay, yeah. So they're walking. Sean gets hit. He's like, "Hey, stop that!" He gets hit in the front, and Jesse's behind him, and he's like, "Stop that! I know it's you." And we take a cut, and it's a freaking polar bear, and there's like a big rock in front of it, and there's like snowballs lined up in front of it, and it pushes one down with its nose, and it like rolls down, and then it hits him again straight in the chest. It was so good. It's like, hey, what's up? And the freaking polar bear is like nosing snowballs at them.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's
magic.
This movie is insane, and honestly, what happens next would explain the whole movie if it didn't happen in like the middle of the movie.
Right.
They're going down a very steep, icy slope, and his sister is like, "Hey, if you start falling, use the axe to stop yourself."
Right.
Well,
and like 30 seconds later,
the bear shows him up because it goes down really easy.
Yeah, just
and
slides
down, and he's like, "Show off," and he starts going down, and he falls. And we get like a 30-second fall montage
yeah.
of this kid.
It's a grown man. It's obviously a grown stunt man.
Yeah.
He's falling down.
He's falling down this steep, like icy, and it's really, I mean, you probably could get on a sled. It's not that bad, but he's like tumbling and flipping, and he goes headfirst into a rock. And it's like, it's bad.
It's pretty brutal.
Like, he hits it hard. It is a solid
right
hit,
on the
and he gets knocked out. And he
has like a fever dream,
He has a fever dream. I call that a brain damage dream. Yeah, of basically like an Eskimo hunting a polar bear, and the polar bear is kind of looking at the Eskimo,
and it says like one word to him.
Yeah, and then he wakes up, and then the polar bear cub is like licking his face. And I guess it heals him because he's fine. He gets up and he's like, "There's no problem." He's got this huge bloody thing on his head. He's just like, I guess
it is weird.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so apparently in that dream, he gets the polar bear's name.
Yes. We find out that the polar bear name is Cubby.
Cubby. And he's like, how do you know that? He's like, his mom told me. Which his mom.
Yeah, that's what his mom calls it. I'm like, oh my goodness.
So he got a spiritual connection to his mom as well.
It's all connecting together at this point. So we go back to the dad. The dad is in the plane.
Oh my god.
His legs busted up. He's like kind of sets it. And he kind of shifts a little too much, and the plane starts like falling down, and it falls down.
This is my favorite part.
And it kind of crashes, and he's like screaming as it goes.
It's like a legitimate like hype, and like the whole time he's falling down the plane. Yeah. It's hilarious. If you ever see anything about the movie, just look up that clip of him falling down because it's amazing. It's so bad. Again,
this is free on YouTube as of the recording of this episode, so definitely check it out for that one part. Maybe I don't really want to. I don't want to have to watch this again, honestly.
Yeah, no. It's just
10 plus years is more than enough time to not see it again.
Don't ever watch this movie.
Cubby the bear, and we go back to the kids, and they went to like a cabin, and they found a canoe. Cabin. Yeah, and they duct taped the canoe back together.
Almost a full canoe. There's like a couple holes in it.
And they duct tape it together, and they're going down this little quiet river, and the bear is kind of following them and swimming behind them, and then all of a sudden, I don't know how, because like it got ahead of them.
Yeah, it was running ahead, and it's like trying to warn them that there's like white water stuff, and then like a waterfall in front, and it's just like
you can tell it's like
what? And then he was like, "Shut up, Cubby, come back," or something like that.
Yeah, he yells at it again.
And so then just keep going. Look,
we're gonna learn an important catchphrase later on because the polar bear cub's always right.
You gotta trust the bear.
Trust in the bear. So they're going down and they're like not doing great. No. They go off a waterfall. It's not that high. It's probably like 20 feet.
Yeah, maybe. 20 feet.
They go off. They lose the canoe. And they're swimming, and they're like flailing around, and they grab onto a tree branches over the waterway. It's
like a fallen tree.
Yeah, it's a fallen tree.
Yeah.
And the sister gets up there, and the brother, like the limb he's holding onto, breaks, and he keeps rolling down, or like going down. He's like about to. I mean, he probably should have drowned, honestly.
Yeah.
It seems pretty like okay, he's like drowning, and lo and behold, he finally kind of grabs onto a rock, and the hand reaches down. And picks him up, and plot convenience number 50 shows up. The friend from the beginning of the movie that was with the sister kayaking
just happens to be there.
They were on a hunting trip that they mentioned earlier.
Dad and grandpa,
and his family, because they do this annual hunting trip. But like, of course, they're in the one spot that he needed it at the moment. Oh, very convenient.
Yeah, super convenient.
They go there and they're rescued, and it's just amazing. And it's like right around this time we get the amazing phrase. We have to trust the bear.
Yes.
We have to trust it.
Because they're, what would you say, Native American? Eskimo type people, and they're like talking about, oh, the bear likes you. that means you must trust it or you have a connection to it. And they're like,
yeah, then you go
like enlightened.
and it's further emphasized because every time we see the bear, we get this music that plays.
Woodwind.
The woodwind, what you would expect, basically. The most stereotypical type of music you could expect, that's what plays.
Yeah.
Every single time we see the bear.
And then the little...
I love it.
That goes on.
That's it. Oh, yeah, basically...
Every time. It's like a hard cut, too. Like, normal music is playing, and then hard cut is like...
And as soon as the bear goes away, regular music comes back in.
Yeah, polar bear.
Yeah, of course. And then we go back to the poachers again, and... Do you remember this part? Because we just watched it, and it's still blurring already. Oh, man.
What was he, the state...
Yeah, the state trooper guy, he's out there looking for the kids now.
We're, what were they?
They're taking pictures for the calendar.
Calendar pictures, whatever. Yeah. And then they tried deceiving the guy by saying, oh, we saw a smashed up canoe 25 miles down this way. And then they had the little oar. Yeah. That was a little symbol that they had. And what was the point of that?
I don't know.
There was no point.
There was no point.
Really come back up.
Like I said, people just kind of come in and out of the story for no apparent reason. And... we're going back to the plane crash now because they found him, finally. They finally get up there.
Well, before that.
What?
Jesse and Sean are running, or like walking around. The bear's in front of them. And the poachers are in the helicopter, remember? And they fly right past them. Right? You talking about they don't find him yet. You remember that, right?
I have cliffhanger here.
Yeah, you
no, you're right. Yeah. I didn't. You're right.
So
I didn't write that part
they
down.
have their own helicopter, right? The poachers and Sean and Jesse are walking along with the bear in front.
Yes.
And they come screeching through.
Yeah, they
like
pop
3 feet off the ground, right behind them.
And he comes over, and like after they get run over, Sean looks at Jesse and he goes, "It's the poachers."
Yeah. And he just stares at them, right?
Yeah, he just kind of looks at them as they shoot the polar bear cub. As they shoot Cubby with the tranquilizer dart.
The tranquilizer dart, yes. And then they actually grab him and fly away.
Yeah.
For, I don't know, a couple minutes.
Yeah, there's a moment there where, like, he's grabbing the Perry the poacher is grabbing the polar bear.
Yeah.
That's a little bit.
Perry the poacher grabbing the polar bear.
And him and Sean just kind of, like, lock eyes, and they just stare at each other. And you're just like, what is happening? I think in that moment, Sean's thinking, he's like, I'm going to be getting this bear back. Either that or the brain damage is kicking in. Because we have not addressed this head injury at all.
No.
So they run away.
And like a minute later,
the kids don't really do anything at this point.
No, they're just kind of
they're like, all right, what are they? The kids
we don't see anything from them.
Yeah, no, they don't exist.
They go to the crash site, right?
Yeah,
they just kind of moved on from there. Like, oh, okay, all right, time to go say that.
Yeah,
see ya. But so then the bear starts waking up because the pilot guy didn't put enough tranquilizer in.
Yeah,
and he's like, oh, put us down. Perry the poacher says, and he starts fighting the bear, right?
Yeah, he does. They start fighting in there because and they get out.
And so, it was kind of confusing, honestly.
Right.
So the dude, okay.
So the pilot guy
has a gun, a real gun.
He's ready to kill his bear.
He's about to shoot him, and Perry accidentally shoots him with a tranquilizer. So he goes, shoots the helicopter.
Yeah, and
the helicopter goes off, and then the polar bear just runs away.
Yeah.
Cubby just paddles away, while
that's about the
Perry's
most. That's about the most comeuppance that the poachers get. We see them one more time, but that's basically it.
They don't get arrested, do they?
No, they kind of just like walk off.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I forgot.
Yeah, no, like there's no.
Their story ends with them just walking back to.
It's 12 miles to the road, which is it's 12 miles. They can make that.
Yeah, easily.
They're just gonna walk to the road.
That's it.
No, it's just like what?
It's just them complaining while they're walking back, and that's the last we see of them. They don't get arrested. There's no. Oh, you dirty crooks.
Yeah, like they definitely should be arrested because they kind of like try to kill these kids by sabotaging their way to get back.
Yeah.
And with the helicopter, everything. But
property damage.
The worst they got bit by a polar bear, and the other guy got tranked, and
that's it.
Amazing. It's
great. It's great.
Well, back to the main story.
Oh my gosh.
The kids finally find their dad. They're yelling. They're going, Dad, Sean. Okay. And they see, like, oh wow, they walk over to the edge of the cliff and they look over, and there's the plane, like 50 feet below them.
Yeah. And
they're like, oh man. So you get a quick little action montage of them roping up, getting ready, and the son goes down there to save the dad because, of course, he does.
Which, now that I think about it, it makes more sense if the daughter went. Because she's smaller and lighter.
Yeah, I guess.
And the sun would have helped pull up.
Maybe she doesn't have the strength, though, to help the dad if he needed it.
Yeah, maybe.
So anyway, son goes down there, and oh my goodness, he's making it worse because the plane starts shifting even more. And dad's like, oh my goodness, hurry up.
He's like, it's slipping. It's slipping.
And he's like, quick, tie the rope around your waist, Dad, quick. And they're tying it, and they finally, just in time, to get out, and the plane falls down, and basically Dark Knight Rises it. Because, yeah, the plane crashes down, and they're holding
But the shot's so weird, because it's hard to tell if it's actually falling down or if it's, like, going across the screen.
The way they angled
it,
it's like going like this. If you're watching the video, it goes across the screen instead of down.
It's so weird.
It felt like definitely it was like falling up almost.
Yeah.
Bizarre. There was no point of reference for that one.
Mm-hmm.
So they crash, and there's a whole long sequence
with
of
no
them,
music, by the way.
Yeah, them climbing up the rope. They get almost there. The sun does.
Yeah, the sun's literally touching the very top.
He looked like definitely the top, right?
He was. His hand was at the very ledge of the top.
And he slips.
The rope slips.
Oh, yeah. Was it the rope that broke?
Yeah, the rope.
Yeah, the catch that was holding them
it like
broke
slips
off
a little
because
bit.
the sister apparently can't tie a knot, I guess.
Yeah.
And the sister's trying to hold onto the rope. She's like, it's slipping. And they're going down. And lo and behold, the rope stops. And she turns around and she looks. And it's Cubby the bear. Cubby the bear grabbed onto the rope and pulls them all to safety. That was my favorite because I'm like, okay, cool. They're all up at the top now. Now what? Plot convenience number 52.
Oh my gosh, the state trooper guy just happens to be flying by. Right?
Yep.
That's what you're talking about.
And he's like, and the son's like, all right, he's got a flare. He's going to fire out. And the dad's like, no, let me do it. He's like, no, Dad. I got this.
Yeah.
And
he's something just like that, yeah.
And the guy's like, oh, wow, there they are. I see a flare. And he's calling back to the station. Everybody's like, whoa.
And they all start throwing papers around.
And he goes in and they're like, it's the kids and the dad and the polar bear.
Polar bear?
It's a polar bear.
And he was totally cool with getting it in his helicopter.
They all got a free ride back to town. And they drop off the polar bear.
Yeah. They stop when they see some bears and they're like, hey, pull over here. At this next exit by the McDonald's and the gas station. And
there's some polar bears. Go. You're a polar bear. You go ahead and work out. They're not solitary creatures at all. Oh my God. And so you know that polar bear is probably killed like immediately after if it was going with a random polar bear.
It's going to be those.
Most definitely.
Where are they now?
Oh my God.
End credit scenes. Just going to show
that's what that
bones
movie
and a bloody
needed.
spot.
And that's basically it. It's a be-free moment. Cubby the bear runs off to live, I guess.
With a different family.
The poachers are still out there, so honestly, who's going to say that they don't turn around and get them, like, in a couple months after they heal up or find help? Or it's not like they, like I said, they didn't go to jail.
No.
Nobody's really hunting for them, I guess, at this point.
They're just kind of...
They're there.
They got away.
They got away, as far as we know.
No bad guys here.
No bad guys,
yeah.
And that's the end of the movie, right there.
I regret watching it.
I don't, because of how amazing it was. Because
I never want to think about this movie again. It was such a bad movie.
Oh man, so there is a lot that could be different about this movie. I'll say that.
Yeah, it probably could have been 20 minutes shorter.
Easily. There's so much like stuff in it that's just like random little things. Okay, I'll be honest. Like the whole whitewater raft thing. Or with the waterfall and everything, and then them being rescued, definitely does not need to be in the movie.
No, they could have just met them.
We could have just cut that all out. They could have just gone up there.
No, we had to have the spiritual bear moment. So
we
could have just They could have just crossed past.
We've already been established that the bear's gonna. They tried warning them about the waterfall and everything.
Okay, but you still got to know to trust the bear from the Native American.
Maybe I just want to cut that line out because it's terrible.
Trust.
Oh man. That is, like I said, I think the biggest issue with this film was that it needed to be way shorter. And the acting. Okay, that was a big issue. But the biggest issue was the acting.
Writing.
The writing? Yeah.
Dialogue.
It felt like a Disney movie. Like that kind of stuff. Like
it felt like
Disney Channel movie.
A Disney movie mixed with a Christian movie.
Yeah.
So it was like the worst of both.
You replaced, the polar bear cub with Jesus, and you got a Christian movie.
Trust in Jesus.
Oh,
That's all you need.
It's a terrible movie. What would you rate it?
Dude, you rated it way too high.
I put it at 4.
I give it a 2.
All right, the cinematography, like the budget, the production value was there. I'll call it that. You know, like it wasn't great, but it didn't feel like I was watching like a home movie.
It was like one step above.
I've seen worse independent movies. I'll say that. Now, considering the director was like pretty well connected, you got Charlton Heston in it. This is probably a decent budget.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not that great.
No.
But the fact that
a 4 is a decent rating for this.
That's below 50%, in my opinion.
That doesn't matter. That's not how it works.
You want to know
movie rating?
Guess what the average rating is on IMDb
I'm
for
not
this?
guessing. I refuse.
It's 5.8.
That's wrong.
Breathtaking. I'm going to read one of the positive reviews. This movie is visually stunning.
You know what?
In a nutshell, this movie is about a father who's a pilot.
Okay.
If you like visually beautiful movies and don't need them to be intellectual masterpieces, then watch Alaska.
I mean, sure.
It's terrible.
If you shoot a movie in Alaska, it's probably going to look decent.
So the budget was $23 million estimated. Opening weekend earned about $2 million. It grossed 11. Worldwide gross 11.
How?
So it didn't even make half
No.
of its budget back.
And that's just the budget they're telling you about.
Yikes. That's terrible.
Ridiculous.
So we've got some fun little things I want to talk about. So the two main characters, the brother and sister, did their own stunts. I can't believe that. I don't believe that's true.
It's not
I thought this was interesting. The bear cub was found by the director and was called Aki. It was born January 1995 and was raised by a bear expert in his own home. The polar bear had to be trained for the role and worked well with the two co-stars.
Mm.
So, and that's about it for the trivia.
Fake ever.
Yeah, no, there was a couple points where like, okay, they're obviously not shooting them together, but for the most part, they were all, you could tell it was all together. So, it was pretty bad. Man.
4 out of 10 is way too high.
4 out of 10 is not, to me, that's a pretty low score, but still fair. Like, I'm not going to say it's like a 1. I've seen like a 2 rated movie before.
Like what? Compared to this?
Compared to this, I feel like this plot was better than some other movies I've seen. I can't name any off the top of my head right now. Because there's not a movie I hate as much as this one. A 2-star review.
2 out of 10.
I have a hard time with that.
You think about it completely wrong. You think about it in grades version. That's not how it works.
What are you
That's not
thinking?
how it works.
We're grading it.
Out of 10.
Out of 10. Yeah.
No,
4 out of 10.
No, out of 10. That's 40. No. That's way too high. 20.
20.
It's horrible. Good is like,
I mean,
8 out of 10.
yeah, I know. That's what I would say.
Like really good.
So like most movies,
Okay, I mean like really, really good would be like
a 9.
9 out of 10.
I don't think there's I have not found a 10.
Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse is 10 out of 10.
I put it
Don't
as
say
still
anything.
9.
10 out of 10 out of 10. But,
Or like a 1. There's nothing that's like a 1 or a 10 in my opinion. But like if it's a pretty bad movie, I'll put it between 2 and 4.
I don't think you can have.
If it's a decent movie, it'll be like 5 to 6. And if it's like a slightly better than decent but still not great, I put it between like a 7 and an 8.
Okay. So mine like that's decent. That's like a 6. It's pretty good. 7. I like this movie. 8. This is a really good movie. 9. Oh my gosh, I love this movie.
Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
10.
Spider-Verse. 10. That's the only 10.
That's the only 10 in existence.
And 5
obviously.
wasn't really great. I'd watch it again. 4, don't watch it. 3, this movie sucked. Please watch it. 2, this movie sucked. Please do not watch it.
You put this one at the do not watch it?
Don't watch it! It's a waste of time. It's not even
It is
fun.
a waste of time. It's a waste of time.
It's not fun.
It's
fun. Okay, it's fun if you watched it when you were a kid. Which
when you
we
hated
did.
it, yeah.
And you knew it was bad as a kid. And you're like, oh man, we gotta watch this again sometime.
Oh, man.
That's the only time you ever watch it again. I'm never gonna watch this movie again.
I can say
Except maybe if I have kids. I'll
probably
watch it with my
never.
kids.
Yeah, maybe I should make Eliza watch it.
Yeah, they
She
should
probably
watch
would
it.
like it. She's 2.
Make her watch every single movie you watched as a kid. And try and raise her just like you.
Oh no, that sounds like a terrible idea.
I had to watch this movie as a kid. You have to watch this movie as a
I
kid.
should be watching Star Wars like nonstop then. I literally, when I was like younger, my time measurements were based off of Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, so this road trip's going to take me about New Hope and Empire Strikes Back to get there. Okay, that's how I measure time.
Yeah. I do that with Endgame. I'm like, okay, I got about 1 Endgame left before I can leave.
Yeah.
I do stuff like that. Like, oh, Endgame's longer than this. This isn't too bad.
It's
Stuff like that.
Oh man. Well, guys, we've got another fun one coming up next week. We're doing X-Men Origins.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This will be a bit more fun. This one's a
that's
rewatchable
Deadpool one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
This is a
a
rewatchable
fun
one.
movie. Yeah. It's not horrible.
I think it gets worse rap than it deserves, mostly from like deep comic book fans.
Right. Well, okay, yeah. Most comic book movies do.
Yeah, but I
sure.
think it'll be fun. We're going to look at it from a lot of different angles, and we will see you guys next time.